Judd wants to talk about Cyberpunk 2077 to this podcast, so I'm going to give him 60 seconds starting now. Go.
2077. You're not giving me 60 seconds. Fuck off. No, I wrote a list. I like prepared for the whole fucking podcast.
Oh my god. Look, Judd, we can't do a full podcast on one game, so I'll give you half a podcast to talk about a game. If you're not interested in video games,
that's fine. I don't think I'll even need half of one, to be honest, to get across what I'm saying. So that's
if you're
fine.
interested in Cyberpunk 240 or whatever it's called, then Judd will blabber on about it for half a podcast.
It's actually Blibberclunk 999.
If you're not interested in that, skip along a bit until we start talking about something else, probably equally as bad. But you know, that's the podcast. Anyway, has it come out yet, Judd? What's going on?
So right, you can download it now. Like, you're allowed to have it.
A pre-download.
Yeah, like a pre-download. But the thing is, it's weird because that doesn't even really matter because it's like a 55 gigabyte download for the pre-download, and then there's a day one patch of 49 gigabytes. So...
Oh, right. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of to be expected of games nowadays, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
How big was World of Warcraft when we first tried to install it?
Actually, I tried downloading... I don't know about back in the day, but I just tried downloading World of Warcraft again recently because Shadowlands is coming out, and I'm pretty sure it's something like 70 or 80 gigabyte.
I seem to remember it being about 12 or 20 or something. I think it had a 2 or a 3 in it. But do you remember how long that took on Dad's laptop, on our dad's laptop, on our dad's internet in like, what, 2000?
If you bought that... If you bought that game on disc, it came on 5 fucking discs. And on regular intervals, you'd have to take that disc out and then put the next one in. It was ridiculous.
I swear to God, it took us 2 straight days, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like, literally, we started it when we got to his house, which is normally about, 6-7 o'clock in the evening. Started it then, and we had to do it the entire next day. And then, it was maybe around midday on the day after that that it actually managed to start playing.
Yeah.
Very laggy, because it was a very shitty laptop.
Yeah.
I don't think we even knew how to change the video settings to help with anything like that back then.
No, we probably didn't. We wouldn't have. We wouldn't have. Let's put that up.
So,
there we go.
Look, right. I'm just giving. I don't think this is necessarily going to happen, and I've said it multiple times, but I've just got a little bit of a feeling, right, with the delays on this game, with all the hype to it.
I'm going to talk about
it's going to have a similar outcome to Watch Dogs. I think it's going to have a similar outcome to how Watch Dogs happened.
The first one.
Yeah.
I can't really remember that, but because I was never super into Watch Dogs.
My reaction to Watch Dogs was, this is a fun game, and I really loved it, but I didn't play it when it released. Yeah. I saw the adverts for it when it was going to be coming out. Thought, that looks mostly like Assassin's Creed, but nowadays, because I was big into Assassin's Creed at that point, and didn't play it for age. I got it maybe 4 years after it came out, and having played it 4 years after it came out, not knowing about any of the hype or anything like that, I was like, oh, that was a fun story. I enjoyed it, type of thing. But apparently, on the day one release, everyone was like, "This doesn't look anywhere near as good as it was supposed to." And I
did actually have a look at that because there's a YouTuber who does his whole thing is doing bad releases of games and consoles and stuff.
Yeah.
Like failed launches and failed projects. So I did watch a bit on the Watch Dogs one, and he did do a comparison of what they were showing at E3 and then what was actually in the game, and it was fucking night and day. But the thing is, it's gonna look.
That's the thing is, it wasn't that night and day. But people thought it was people felt a bit lied to.
There were some bits in it that I'm like, ugh, that's a bit. But I suppose it's always gonna look better in the E3 showing because they're gonna fucking pour over that because it's the selling thing. That's what they're showing to people to be like, look at this game that we've done. Be interested in our game. So it's gonna.
I just didn't get the hate on it, but I feel like because it's been delayed, things like that. I feel like Cyberpunk could have a similar problem, probably a more actual problem than because to me the Watch Dogs thing was people just bitching about it, whereas I think Cyberpunk could actually have that problem because people weren't bitching about it like too much. They weren't saying, oh, it's complete trash and it was supposed to be really good. I think people are going to be like, oh, this is just kind of like not amazing. It's a bit disappointing.
Well, I've got all that down in my lists. So right, the way I wanted to sort of do this is I've got like a list of stuff that like I know is going to be good with the game, and sort of like what I think is going to be good with the game, and then like a list of what I know is bad with the game and what I think is going to be bad with the game.
Already, it's not even come out, and you know it 100%.
Yeah, well, no, there is just certain stuff that I know, but like, so what?
Got
should we do
insider knowledge. Best mates with Keanu Reeves.
I am actually. He said to me, "This game is fucking trash." That's not how he talks.
Again.
Shall I do a good one or a bad one first?
I don't care. Just fucking get through it.
This is
like torture for me. I don't care.
You have to
I don't
choose
play games that come out now anymore, Jude, remember?
Okay.
Literally, the latest game I've installed is literally Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015. Because it was 50 pence on Steam, and I almost just sent it to you for the meme. I almost just sent you a copy of it on Steam because I thought that would be funny.
That's brilliant. That sounds more fun than Cyberpunk. Right, okay. I think this game's going to have a lot of good replayability in it. Purely because with games like this, like if it's just got as much content in as Fallout New Vegas, a game that came out like 10 years ago, I'm still in New Vegas today.
I think I'm going to buy that. It's about £2.80 somewhere.
New Vegas, I'd strongly fucking recommend buying New Vegas. There are bits in it that are shit. It's not a perfect game, but it is. For me, it's like the law and the politics in it. I can get really into, and there's so many different paths. But that's the thing. It's. I think this game, at least with what we've been shown, is going to have a lot of like diverging paths and ways to like go about stuff in different ways. Like, just how you build your characters, who you side with, the life path that you start off at the beginning with. Because even in New Vegas, it's like you're starting off in one place, but you can do a load of diverging things from that point. In Cyberpunk, we've been promised, at least, I'm pretty sure that we are going to get it, because this would be like too big a thing for them not to include, like free sort of starting things. Like you can choose from 3 different life paths to get you started. And then they all have diverging paths and stuff.
Do you know what? I already see more expectation from people, and that's going to actually be. Do you know what that'll be? It will literally be like mild tweaks to the story, because they can't change the story massively.
I think
otherwise it'd be like no canon.
I expect that. I expect it to be like I just expect sort of like the first sort of 30 to 40 minutes to play around that, and then some dialogue options to change as well, like what you can say to people. I don't expect all 3 to be a completely different.
40 minutes is a bit of a push, if anything. But yeah, I think it'll change maybe some. It might change the way that like the tone in which some NPCs speak to you, that sort of thing. But you'll end up with the same things, really.
Yeah, I reckon it's still going to be the same story, really. But like, I reckon not everybody's, but most people's playthroughs are going to be different to each other, just like they were with New Vegas and like other games along that line. Just because everybody likes playing differently.
But this is the thing. It's like, even in these like Fallout games and that, they're never that different to story. It's basically like, oh, what did you do on this bit? You know, towards the end, what choice did you make in the final mission? The fact that people even had the same final mission means that it just doesn't really make much difference.
Which, by the way, is fine.
It kind of can. You have to be reasonable about making a good story. Loist Boy says, question for my man in the black and yellow shirt, what kind of toothpaste you on? I don't fucking
Colgate?
know.
You're probably on Colgate.
Could be Colgate. Who knows? I mean, I just use whatever turns up in the bathroom. I'm gonna be honest, I don't pick my own toothpaste. I just use whatever's supplied to me.
It disappears. Your mother doesn't even buy it. Nobody knows where this toothpaste comes from.
Judd is asking you two, what toothpaste do you use?
I'm on Colgate. I rep
Judd's
Colgate.
firmly a Colgate boy. So if Colgate wants to sponsor the podcast, then hit us up. Or any toothpaste brand, really, or any brand. We're really quite willing to sell out in any sort of way.
Yeah.
I would even promote The Witcher 3 as a good game, and I don't really like it that much. Oh yeah, that's right. Hate on me. Anyway, continue with your story about this game that I think is going to be about as good as The Witcher 3.
I think it'll be better than The Witcher 3, and maybe just because I think I like sort of the general setting more than I will The Witcher 3, so it might just be a personal bias, but whatever. Yeah, I think it's going to have a lot of good replayability.
I think Loist Boy uses Crest, but what do you think, Loist Boy? We're talking Cyberpunk 77. I wasn't listening to you, Judd. What did you say?
I said, do you think this game will have a lot of good replay value?
I think it'll be similar to the Fallout games if they do it well. I think it will only be as good as Fallout games. It won't be any better than that. No better than that at all.
And to me, that's fine. If it is, and I want it to be, that'd be awesome. But I'm not expecting it to be.
I would say it definitely won't be as much replayability as something like Borderlands. I could replay Borderlands more than Fallout, and I don't know. Maybe even like I would say it wouldn't hold up to like GTA for replayability. I would say out of 10, I'm guessing it will be around a 7, maybe. And I don't think it would be. I can't see it being any more than that.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll be happy if it is like a 7, and if it is better than awesome. I'm playing it tomorrow, so I'll let you know. Right, a bad thing about this game that is definitely happening. It's happening right now.
Straight from Keanu's butthole itself.
This game is way too fucking overhyped. It's too overhyped.
It really is, especially for a game that's like it's not a sequel to anything or anything like that. It's not like it's had a previous game to show us how good it could be. It's the most hyped game I've seen since Borderlands 3. I would say.
I was counting like earlier. I was in the canteen like on my break. And I was just scrolling through Facebook for half an hour, and in about half an hour, I saw, I think, 8 or 9 separate posts about Cyberpunk. And it was all game journalists, and I think it is a lot of this probably game journalists' fault because that's probably because they know that it's already the hype, so they're like doing it to get clicks.
Yeah, it becomes a cycle, doesn't it? Like, people click on it, so game journalists see, people like this, and they make more, and then people click on it more, because that's what's out there.
I reckon, honestly, though, if I started scrolling down Facebook now, I'd find one in the first 5 minutes. But yeah, it's way too overhyped, and overhype leads to disappointment. It always leads to disappointment.
Yeah.
Look at No Man's Sky. It started off as a fucking terrible game anyway.
It's probably the most famous, example of it. I don't think it'll be as bad as that. Oh, the dog's going. Yeah, of course it is.
She's seen Keanu Reeves. He's outside your house.
There's nothing I can do about that because my family refuses to train the dog fucking right. So that's we're just gonna get barking constantly. This is my life right now. I'm moving out because of this shit. It's insane.
Yeah, so it's too overhyped. What the fuck was I gonna say about this?
Can't remember. Dogs barking too much.
It also goes into my point about of it being delayed. Do you know when this game was first teased? Like it was first shown at E3? Fucking 7 years ago.
7 years?
2013. And I think the
Duke Nukem's levels of delayed.
I know it's like I'm pretty sure it was supposed to come out in, I want to say like 2016 or something like that. It's been 7 fucking years, and I don't know when it was done. I think I can hear Jake Tippy typing now. Like when was the original release date?
I think you've got this all wrong. Oh wait, no, this is release date. It's showing me. It's saying release date's 10th of December. Oh, that's tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it's tomorrow.
That's announced. It was announced in May 2012. Holy shit!
2012, 8 years then. I thought it was 2013. That might have been when they showed it at E3. Actually, yeah, E3.
No, I do think it was meant to originally release this year though. Because from what I can tell on the internet, it says it was originally meant to release on the 16th of April. Then it got pushed back to September 17th. Then November 19th. And then now it's December 10th.
I've never ever heard of a game that's been announced, and them going, "We'll see you in 8 years." I've never heard of that. Like, it's at most, whenever I've seen a game come out, it's been like 2 or 3 years. I've never fucking seen like.
See, look, I'm looking down here. It's just got some. It's got general headings about this game, and all of them remind me of games that are fucked up in certain ways, right?
Yeah.
So, its release date, it's been pushed back. Story trailer sets up your first job. That just don't mean anything. Multiplayer is coming eventually.
Yeah.
You don't like to see that ever, do you? I don't need to talk about that. DLC
GTA
will be like The Witcher, a game that I notoriously think is very overrated.
No. To be fair, what I've looked into that, and what it says by that is like Witcher-esque. So what they actually mean is that the DLCs will have their own self-contained stories, which I like.
Yeah.
So that's. It's not necessarily Witcher-esque.
They're trying to do. They're doing things in a similar way to The Witcher. They obviously they must like The Witcher to be doing that sort of thing. And I don't that much.
Sold well, didn't it? And it got a lot of acclaim. So I mean,
system requirements are surprisingly modest. Not surprised if they started it in 2012.
Yeah.
Recommended system requirements. Yeah. They're not actually that modest. They're saying it is, but I suppose for a AAA game. Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's overhyped, and people need to reel themselves in. They need to wring their fucking necks in, obviously.
I've got a feeling it might be similar to Rage 2, It got similar vibes to Rage 2 to me.
I can see it very... It's like, look, I either think this game is going to be, like, good... It's going to be good, maybe even be like pretty good, or it's going to be a fucking disaster. I don't think it's just going to be bad. It's going to be a fucking disaster.
I don't think it will be a disaster, but I think people might consider it that because of the hype.
I can see it as from like, I don't know, just with again because of hype. Yeah, it will just look like a fucking disaster. But oh well. Let's talk about another good thing. What was my second one? Oh god, what was my second one? I think that was it. I think that they've got a lot to go on, like lore-wise and story-wise, because I didn't actually know this until recently, but Cyberpunk was a tabletop RPG, like D&D. I didn't know that.
Right. Oh,
and
okay.
it already has like a lot of established lore, and I was looking at like the lore and stuff for the tabletop one. And it's really fucking cool. It's like it's got a lot of good stuff to go on. They've got like there's a character called Adam Smasher who is like it's all very 70s. It's all very 70s, by the way. A character called Adam Smasher, who is like a sort of a mercenary for corporations when they want something doing. But he will only work for corporations if they can promise massive civilian casualties. Because he just fucking loves killing people. So it's just stupid shit like that. I think they might do it a bit more grungy. I think I'd kind of like it if they kept a bit of that like silly, stupid like 80s stuff.
They will. They'll do it. It'll be like Marvel levels of humor and grit.
Yeah.
Like they'll keep plenty of it, but they don't want it to be too goofy. They don't want it to be a comedy.
Yeah. But it looks at least like that they've got a lot of good story to go into, and if I'm like into a story, I'll dig into it. I did it a bit with Witcher, not a lot. I did it a lot more with the Fallout stuff and like the Borderlands stuff. So I hope that this is another thing that I can sort of get a bit obsessed with, and because essentially what I want from this game is I want it to eat away at my time. That's what I'm looking for something to proproperly just kill my time with.
What you mean. You want to sink your teeth into it, and
yeah, I want something that I can just go, yes, I'm gonna obsess over this for like a couple years now. I don't know if I'm gonna get that much out of it, but that's what I want.
First BioShock again. That's normally what you do, isn't it?
I've already got it queued up, to be honest. For if this fails, I've already got it ready. But yeah, I'm hoping that, and it looks like it's got a good source to draw from. And then obviously CD Projekt Red, I I liked the Witcher 3 sort of lore, like the deeper lore. There were books already, weren't they? So they had a good thing.
Boring in reality. It's not that good. It's really not that great.
I liked
it's
it.
fine. Look. It's not terrible. It's just fine. It's just like, yeah, that's all right.
I'm not saying it's incredible. I'm just saying that I liked it.
There's so many better things in the similar, like,
yeah,
because it's obviously a fantasy setting, isn't it?
I'm not trying to defend Witcher 3. This is not a me defending Witcher 3 thing, because I've already said I just thought it was like a 6 out of 10. It was okay, and you think it could be like a 5, but it's. I'm just. I'm no, because that's going into bad territory. Is that?
It's a little bad. Only a tiny bit. It's not that bad, boys.
Yeah. It's a 4.8.
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm hoping at least, and I'm thinking that they can do something good with what they've been given.
I'm thinking it's probably going to be a bit too kidsy. Being as Keanu Reeves is in it, sort of, they've got John. John Wick was in Fortnite. It's very bright and very stuff. I think it needed.
I don't think it's going to be kidsy at all. If anything, I think
listen. Let me fucking finish, you little rat boy. It's going to be too kidsy for what could make it great as a setting. As in, it already seems too bright. It needs to be like Far Cry levels, sort of, maybe even a bit more sort of dark. With obviously cyberpunk setting.
From what I've seen, I think if anything, this game could be too dark to like where it's trying to be edgy. If anything, with this game, no, I do. I'm pretty sure that there's an option.
In the trailer, he's riding a fucking roller coaster, Judd. Come on.
Yeah, but that's like, so what? That's just like him goofing around for a second.
That's not dark. The whole start of that's him being like, "Hey, look at this! It's Cyberworld."
Right. Okay,
it really is. Have you seen that trailer?
It really is like
that. You can't. Is
that what he says? Is that what he says to go? Woo, Cyberworld!
It may as well be. Whoa! Oh, hi, Keanu. Oh, dog's mad at me mentioning Keanu again. It's like
he's outside. He's climbing through the window. You keep mentioning his name. It's like Bloody Mary.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is. You know what? That brings me on to my next bad point about this game. Keanu Reeves. I'm not saying Keanu Reeves is bad. I like Keanu Reeves, but we've said it before on the podcast that we don't like it when fucking celebrities show up in his games.
Yeah,
especially not ones that are modelled after the exact likeness of celebrities, because it's right out of games.
The most a celebrity could be in a game is if they do a good version of voice acting without you being able to tell exactly who they are straight away.
Stephen Merchant in Portal 2.
Well,
I know
it wasn't a great example because you can tell it's him. But
yeah, you can tell it's him, but it looks nothing like him. So it's like,
I know, but the thing is that's not what I'm saying either, because their voice acting also can't be like, oh yeah, it's that person. Because I never want to be playing a game, watching a film, TV or anything, and think, that's that person. That shouldn't be my first thought. You should be thinking about the character and story first, and then be like, oh yeah, and it is them as well.
That's what I'm scared about in this game. I don't want this game to be going well for me. I don't want to be like getting into it like, yeah, I'm sinking my teeth into this now, I'm getting into it, and then Keanu pops up and I just go, I'm out. I'm just out of it because Keanu Reeves is on screen.
I can already tell you, you're not going to be calling Keanu's character by whatever name
by Johnny Silverhand. No, I'm going to be calling him Keanu. I will call him Keanu for the whole game.
That's a bad thing. Like, just have a different. Just make a character. Just make another character, you know.
And to be honest, I was looking up like Johnny Silverhand's character. I don't even think Keanu Reeves is like the best character to play that kind of guy, because he's like a sort of rock legend that turns sort of like activist / corporate mercenary.
It's stupid.
And I just feel like it should have some. Not younger. I think maybe the age is all right, but sort of more like youthful, like a bit more punk rock.
Someone a bit more like Iggy Pop. Like, I'm not saying him, but someone like him. People know that. Just look him up if you don't know.
I'm gonna look up Iggy Pop.
He's like older, but he's a bit mental still, and he still does.
Iggy Pop, right? Is that what I mean? More like that. A younger Iggy Pop. A younger
think
Iggy Pop.
Actually, even who I mean, but yeah, sure, Iggy Pop will do.
Yeah, Iggy Pop will do. That looks to me. If you painted his arm silver,
I meant Billy Idol. Look for Billy Idol instead.
Billy Idol.
This is who I meant.
Iggy Pop's a good Billy Idol. Ah, yeah, that's even better.
Yeah, Billy Idol. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Like a younger.
Everyone who's listening to this podcast, pause it real quick. I don't care if you're driving or anything like that. Actually, if you're driving, maybe just keep driving. But pause it. Google Billy Idol. Go. Oh yeah, he looks quite cool, and then resume podcast. Okay, go. Right. Judd's doing it. Judd's actually.
Now I'm bringing up Johnny Silverhand. Obviously, it's just showing me. I'll put in old art. Because then
Silverhand.
I'll just send you a picture.
No, don't.
Oh well, I've already done it. Like to me, that I look at that and I don't think Keanu Reeves. I'd say like Billy Idol, like a young Billy Idol.
He's like almost like a post 80s hair metal kind of guy. He looks a bit like what's his face? George something. Him who did Careless Whisper.
Oh, wasn't that
or something
like
that?
Is it?
George Michael. Yeah, it looks a bit like George Michael in Wham. He looks like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, like, he needs to be more edgy than that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't like that. It's been bad in every single game I've played that's had a celebrity in it. The celebrity has made it not disastrously worse, but worse.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else, Judd? Because you're running out of time.
I can. The only other sort of good thing was I liked. I just like the aesthetic. To be honest, the only thing was, and that's a personal thing. I like that sort of aesthetic, like the sort of like grungy underground sci-fi sort of thing. I like that aesthetic.
I like the idea of it, but I can see how they'd mess it up. I can see how they could make it too. Think about GTA 5. Do you remember when GTA 5 first came out and how it's like now? Yeah. Think about the differences, like with custom tracks and all the GTA Online stuff. It's become this is a better example for you. Saints Row. Think about how that series evolved. I feel like they'll go too much Saints Row 5 and not enough Saints Row 2.
Right, okay, yeah.
I think they might get a bit too goofy with it because of, like, things like Fortnite being so popular, even stuff like Avengers having more humour in, things like that. I think we're due for people to take it a bit too far, and I can imagine it happening in this. I have to say, every negative prediction I've got for this, I'm just saying how I can see how that could definitely happen. I'm not necessarily even expecting it to happen. It could definitely be fine as well.
You can see... It's a similar way that I'm seeing it. It's like I can see how this can go wrong, but I'm hoping it doesn't. I know when it could maybe even
be more likely, but again, like you just said, I'm hoping it doesn't because I want a good game to play eventually as well. I want it to be good.
I know where my expectations are for this game. I hope that they're exceeded, but also I could see this all going wrong. So, last thing on the bad side was. As I've been scrolling down Facebook and I've been, seeing shit pop up about this game, a lot of what I'm seeing is bugs. I'm seeing a lot of stuff to do with bugs in this game. It's what reviewers are saying, and like people who've got early copies and stuff. Maybe it'll all be sorted out. There's a big fucking day one patch coming with it.
Is Bethesda making this? Because they may as well.
No, it's
feels
CD
very
Projekt.
Bethesda.
It does feel a bit. Like I feel like I'm gonna peel the label off, and underneath it is gonna say like Bethesda.
Who made a Home Alone game for the NHS? Remember,
they did do that. Yep, that one's Bethesda.
I have done my regularly scheduled JonTron pilgrimage this year. So but
so I'm seeing a lot of stuff to do with bugs. There's a massive day one patch coming with it, but obviously because there's so much in this game, there's a lot of opportunities for things to go wrong. So I just feel like a lot of bugs is inevitable, but I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think that'll be too much of a not for me. That's not much of a concern because of how I play games now. I play games years after they come out, like around 2 years after they come out.
Also, another post was something about an unskippable scene in the game that is causing people to have seizures. So,
oh, that's good. That'll be fun.
That'll be fun for the kids.
Yeah, for the kids, it'll be great. For the kids on this, what is it, 18 game? Do you know what the age rating on it? Do you know what? I reckon the age rating will tell us a lot about this. If it's not an 18, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
This needs to be an 18 to be quite. Oh, it's 18. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Oh,
I can see this going quite dark.
Oh, that's a German rating, I think.
I think we have the same rating as Germany. Oh, actually, no, they might be stricter.
Everywhere is different. I think. I don't know how it is with video games. I would expect Germany to be less strict than us.
No,
they have brothels and stuff legally.
Actually, Germany doesn't view video games as a form of art form.
What about ESRB? What do they rate it?
Be an R,
17 plus.
17.
It's not rated R. Okay, that's kind of what it should be really, because rated R would be like fucking horrible, like Outlast, stuff like that.
Outlast.
It don't need to be like that. So okay, that's a good sign then at least. That it's not going to be too cartoony.
So I'm hoping the best for this game, and I really want something to get obsessed over here. So. But if it's all right, if it's like Fallout levels, that's good enough for me. So
I don't think it's going to be as good as Fallout, but
but I'll be able to tell you next week when I've actually played the game.
Well,
so that's where we'll leave that.
Well, yeah, that's your time up. Just so you know, I've decided to give Far Cry New Dawn a chance. Because it's quite cheap at the minute. I only paid £11 for it. And if you remember, Far Cry 5 was so bad, I was like, nah, not even going to touch New Dawn. Don't even care.
Yeah, I do remember that.
But I figured, well, it's quite cheap. And also, it wasn't the setting which was the bad thing. That's what annoyed me so much with it, that they'd ruined the setting. It was pretty much everything else.
Sorry, we've just got a little update. Do you remember?
The update's been so
the whole thing of me saying
what?
Okay. Do you know? do you remember what I said about Cyberpunk being overhyped?
Yeah.
Have you opened Steam?
Let's open Steam.
Go ahead and open Steam and go to the fucking store page for me.
This is gonna be good. I can tell. Live reaction on the podcast. Don't worry, we'll stop talking about games very soon. But yeah, next week I'll give you an update on whether Far Cry New Dawn can redeem Far Cry before Far Cry 6 comes out. It's connecting to my Steam account. It's okay. We're getting there.
Oh, this is good. This is good suspense.
On the store page, and it's a big old cyberpunk animation. Oh, and there's a countdown.
Yeah, there's a big old animated banner on Steam with a big fucking clock counting down to when you can play it.
Essentially advertised as the main character of this game.
And he's always fucking front and center, Keanu. It's Cyberpunk starring Keanu Reeves. That's what.
Look, we've got to get off of this game, dude. It's gonna. I'm worried for it. I hope it's good.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted to before we. There's one or two things we could get stuck into. It might have to. One of them might have to save for next podcast now. I either wanted to do online orders that we've done this year to look at those because that'd be quite interesting, or Flash games that we used to play. I've brought up a list of 2,000 Flash games.
Isn't Flash being butchered soon?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because it just they all run on a different code and it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But before we get into that. I saw this interesting theory, this interesting sort of like trend of sons telling their dads that they love them. And I just wanted to ask you, what do you think would happen if we did that to our dad?
He'd probably just call us faggots, to be honest. It's like...
I think he'd have like a meltdown. I think he'd go, what? What was that? What do I do now?
I think if I called Dad and I said, Dad, I just wanted to tell you I love you, I think you would immediately think that I either wanted money or I was dying.
Well, this is the thing. I've got a coin here, Judd, and I figured we could flip a coin for who has to call Dad on a podcast and tell him that they love him.
Oh, I don't want to. No, I don't want to do that. That feels like I'm playing with his emotions.
Well, do you love him?
I do, but I don't.
Well, then it's all right, then, isn't it? It's not like we're taking the piss. It's just who has to do it.
I don't know. That feels like an intimate family moment that I'm cheapening for views for content.
Well, we can do it off stream if you want. I don't really care. I just thought it'd be pretty interesting to see what happens.
It would, but I don't know. That's something that just makes my skin crawl. Shit like that makes my skin crawl. It's like when I see an influencer like giving a homeless man some money and like somebody in the distance.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll do that off stream then. But what do you think would actually happen? Like genuinely.
I think I don't know. I just think it'd be wary of it. It'd be like offering sort of like a wounded tiger like some food or something. I'd like approach you like carefully, like taking a few cautious swipes. You're going like,
I don't know. I figured I kind of want to, because like I don't even know if I don't remember a point where I've told Dad I love him or he's told me, or like, you know, same to you. I can't remember that like at any time. Do you?
He tells me he loves me all the time.
What? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He does like you more.
No, we say love you to each other, like when we hang up the phone and stuff.
Does that count?
Yeah, sure it does. Like
I don't know if he says. I don't think he does to me.
He just says right, silly then.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not remembering. Probably that, but I don't know. Just thought it'd be interesting. I was also like thinking about like, I don't know. I think I saw something about someone's dad had died or something like that, and something like that. I thought, I wonder if my dad's going to die soon.
He went, "Oh, chance would be a fine thing."
Anyway, that's that. I don't know. I guess that's not the relationship we have, and that's fine. I don't think you have to tell people you love them in a relationship for it to be valid.
Yeah, love isn't telling, it's showing.
Yeah. And he doesn't do that either.
Yeah, I was just going to say he's not done that either. So.
No, he does. And you know, Dad shows he loves us in very particular ways, which are quite cute, actually. Cute is probably not a good word to use to talk about this, but it's as in like what we were on about next week, how he fucking is going to get us an advent calendar no matter what. It's stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'm going to open today's date, actually.
He doesn't even really give a shit whether we want one or not. He is giving us an advent calendar.
Yeah. He broke into my house to give me this year's one because it wasn't that bad. It's not as bad as it sounds, but I didn't hear my phone go off when he was calling me to say that he was dropping it off. It was like upstairs and charging, and my nan and granddad were in the front room watching TV. So instead of just like leaving me a voicemail or a message saying I've left it like outside, like next to the bin or like under the car so it didn't get rained on, he just walked into my house without any of us knowing. So he just walked in, put the advent calendar down and like walked off. And then like later on in the day when I like went to go get a drink, I like went to the fridge and like my eyes down and I saw this fucking advent calendar there. And I called him up. I was like, "Did you break into my house, you creepy bastard?"
It's a very different relationship that you have with him and me, because when he obviously did that with you, and for me, he drove right up to the drive, you know, gave me the advent calendar, and we had a chat about like, oh, I'm getting a house, all right, Christmas plans. He has this very normal like adult relationship. With you, he's like, "Judd, you still alive? I'm gonna leave this here."
He opens the door to my bedroom. There's like cobwebs everywhere. I'm like curled up in some sort of like fetal position playing on
like
PlayStation
in front of the screen, just
yeah.
like
I look up to him and I go
like that meme of what gamers look like.
Yeah.
Well.
Yes, but I had to go fucking tell my dog off because I was like, "You are the shittest dog ever." Anybody could have came into that house then and just steal shit or like just ask my nan and granddad. It would just fucking just sat there like watching.
Anyway, do you want Flash games?
We should tell them because.
Do you think Flash games or Amazon orders, Judd? Because I've placed Fucking hell. 51 orders in
Let me see if I
2020.
can. Let me see if I can.
We might have to. I
Log
think
into
we're
my
gonna have to.
account.
We're gonna have to
I'm
do
logged
Flash
in.
games. We're gonna have to save Amazon orders for a full podcast.
I'm in my
because
account. Oh wait, I've got it ready. If you wanna.
how many
wanna do
orders have you
Amazon
done in
orders?
2020?
Returns and orders. Your orders. Oh, it's not.
You
It's
can
not
change the date.
Oh,
to
there we go.
2020.
2020. Only 6 from Amazon. Amazon actually.
Amazon. Well,
Amazon.
that's a teaser for next podcast because we'll have to do that next podcast because I've ordered
Jake,
51 things.
It is the most boring fucking Amazon list
Well,
ever.
you can also say some other stuff that you've ordered online as well, because no doubt you've ordered some models and shit. So
Yeah,
I don't
if
know.
I-
I think it's
yeah.
pretty interesting. I listened. I'm completely copying this idea from Rhett and Link because they've done that on their podcast. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, this is fairly interesting. I like to know what people have bought. But anyway, Flash games, Judd. Do you remember Flash games?
I love Flash games.
This time of year reminds me of Flash games because when our dad bought us some really shitty £100 laptops that were called notebooks for some reason at that point. They were oh lord, they were so not powerful
They
at
were-
all.
I remember trying to download Team Fortress 2 on mine, and it just didn't work. It nearly
No.
bricked the
Like
fucking thing.
12 FPS on the lowest
Yeah.
settings.
It was so bad. I put everything to the lowest settings and everything, and like there was just everything was coming up as error messages. I'd like go to move, and like 20 seconds later, the character had moved forward. It was.
I loved your tenacity for doing stuff like that back then though, because you'd still try. You'd still try
Yeah.
and play it. Like you'd be like, yeah, I know, but I still want to play this game, so I'm just gonna do it. And it's like it was awful, but you'd
Yeah.
still do it.
I'd still give it a go. I'd still try.
So the only option that we had was Flash games, and some of the top end of those even ran a little bit slow, didn't they?
Yeah.
Even though they were online based. But I've brought up a list of brilliant Flash games from the 2000s to stay inside and play, and let's see how many of these we can like remember and say what we think about them.
Go on.
First
then.
is The Last Stand. Do you remember this one? I kind of briefly remember it.
Google this really quick because that's.
It's one of those zombie games where you get like team of zombies and like essentially all the survivors are on the right hand side and you just click on the pew 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 on the zombies.
Oh yeah, yes. So yeah, I didn't play this one that much. I must have played it like only a couple times, but I
Yeah,
remember.
it wasn't amazing.
Yeah, I remember that one. It
Next
wasn't amazing.
one.
You clicked on zombies' heads and they died.
One of the biggest boys, I would say. This is probably one of my top 5 Flash games, which we should probably do as a podcast one day.
Yeah.
Bloons Tower Defense.
Yeah, Bloons is just sick.
Wow.
There's no question about that. Bloons is fucking sick.
That's one of like a small group of Flash games that did so well. They made like sequels to them, and you had to pay for them on like the Xbox Live Store or on the App Store and stuff like that. They didn't offer them for free anymore.
They became like actual games.
Yeah.
Like you could have stuff. I think it on like my iPod or something.
Yeah, another one of those
Hello?
which I didn't get too into, but I remember friends at school liking is the next one, which is the Fancy Pants Adventure.
The fancy.
Do you remember that?
Fancy.
You'll recognise it when you see it. This kind of, I don't know if it had a story, but it was kind of a bit like
I
a
remember
Mario
this
kind of
being
game,
more
I
of
suppose.
like a this was like a Newgrounds thing.
Yeah, there was.
I'm sure that-
Newgrounds was a massive home for Flash games.
Yeah.
There were so many Flash games
Yeah,
in Newgrounds.
he's supposed to be like a bit of a Newgrounds icon, I think. Fancy Pants, but I never played it.
Yeah, he is. I don't know. I couldn't get too into it. I've never been. I don't think you have either. I've never been very into platformers at all.
I mean, not really. I've never really played it. I've never played a platformer and thought I really like this game.
Yeah.
So.
I suppose you could consider stuff like Prince of Persia a 3D platformer in a way, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's an iconic one, but we never got too into it because just not that into Flash platformer games.
Yeah.
Dino Run? I don't know about this one. Don't
Dino Run.
recognise that one. It's an endless runner.
Don't recognise that one either.
It's basically the not connected to the internet Google Chrome game.
Yeah, I was just gonna
It's
say.
basically that. This one you'll remember, and this was probably the best one to play in IT lessons at school. Bowman.
Bowman?
You'll know Bowman.
Is
Come
it
on.
where he's flash game? Is it the one where
Yeah.
he's shooting the apple off the guy's head?
Yeah, kind of. A lot of it was on addictinggames.com. A lot of these, when you were a kid, you just remembered like the icons from. We didn't really particularly remember the name of a lot of them.
See, this. I never really played this one. You still not got to my favorite yet.
Don't worry, there's a big daddy of all of these for us, definitely.
Yeah.
And if it's in this list, I'm going to save it for last because we could probably talk about it for an entire podcast. Next, a really good one that I never finished, The Impossible Quiz.
The Impossible Quiz was good. It was funny. I liked Impossible Quiz. Yeah.
There's so many sequels of it and stuff like that now. It's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should play some of these on a stream at some point.
Yeah.
Another one that we played too much of for what it was. We played too much of this for what it is. Interactive Buddy. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
it's essentially
it's like a sort of like genre, isn't it, of like buddy beat 'em ups and like buddy games, and
it's just essentially it created this like genre of flash games that's just torture chamber flash games. That's all like
it was. Character.
Yeah. It's quite disturbing thinking about what it is now.
Yeah.
We must have played hours of this. We must have played hours of just different tortured scenarios.
Like me and Jake leering over the laptop, torturing this tiny character, going, yeah.
And I would have been 13-ish. You would have been like 11, something like that. And we would have just been going, whoa, look what's happening, like type of thing. Oh, we probably wouldn't have even been that excited. We would have been listening to like Dragon Ball Z soundtrack or something like that.
Prince of Persia Warrior Within soundtrack.
While playing this.
Yeah.
That's what we do in in a tiny box room on like what it would have been maybe like an 8-inch screen.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Oh god, it wouldn't have been HD that screen either.
And it entertained us for hours. We got hours of enjoyment.
We were that desperate to play video games. This is what we would do. We had no money, so we just didn't have any. We couldn't afford any new games, so this was how we had to get like new games because there was so many. Like we might have had 3 video games at that point. We'd have had like Prince of Persia, Starsky and Hutch, and then like Mario Tennis or something that would have come with a console. So we just did this instead.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, it's pretty good. Do you remember the Portal Flash game? It's just basically 2D Portal, and it's really good. For a Flash game, it's brilliant.
Portal Flash
Obviously,
game.
It's not as good as a 3D version, but it's...
I don't think I ever played this one. Oh, maybe I did. I think I did actually a little bit.
Yeah, I did. I didn't play a lot of it, but it's, how can you pass up 2D Portal? It's like, come on, that's going to be a great Flash game.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. This is triggering an unknown memory, this next one. It's just a Flash game called Ray, and it's got South Park art style.
Yeah, no, I played Ray. I think I played the whole series.
Was it really graphic and violent?
Yeah.
Was it a game? Or was it like one of those Flash movies?
It was more like a Flash movie. It was like a choose your own adventure thing, and occasionally there was like mini games that you could play in it.
So it's South Park art style, kind of choose your own adventure minigame thing, and it's basically about a guy called Ray, isn't it?
Yeah, he was sort of like I feel like he was an ex-marine, and he's sort of like a sort of mercenary for hire. I'll read
the description of it.
Yeah.
It says, there were many reasons parents didn't want their children going on the internet unsupervised in the early 2000s. The idea that we might stumble upon an anarchic point-and-click chaos of Ray was undoubtedly one of those reasons. Wow, either I can't read, probably the likely thing, or this is written badly. Ray was not for kids, and yet, as we all know, it ended up being played almost exclusively by small children. Yeah, that was us.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, internet. If the creators of South Park were able... Okay, bloody and violent, yet strangely compelling to a young audience who were clearly enjoying something they shouldn't be anywhere near. I'm not sure that Ray holds up as well as other games on the list, but it's undeniably iconic to those of a certain age. Yeah, it was that, weren't it? It was like, kids will think this is brilliant, but it's actually kind of stupid and like just way too violent to be anything interesting.
I did play them all though. I did play all the Rays.
Of course you did. I only briefly remember that, whereas you, the psychopath, is like, oh yes, played them all, loved it.
I did. I fucking loved them. I played every single one. I like not only did I like started it because a lot of the time I play Flash games like at school when we were supposed to be doing IT stuff. I remember starting it at school thinking this is a bit too bad to be playing like at school. This I might get fucking in big trouble if they see me on this one. So then I waited till I got home and then played them all at home.
Maybe we can play Ray after the podcast is done live. Maybe we can play Ray on stream. That'd be interesting. Do you think we'd get banned? Oh, God. It sounds like we're talking about Star Wars, but it's like anyway. Next is the Flappy. This one I'm just going to give you a clue. It was the Flappy Bird before Flappy Bird.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name.
It's the helicopter game.
Oh yeah.
The helicopter game. Iconic.
Yeah.
It's just Flappy Bird.
I played this one a little bit
with a helicopter. It was a bit easier than Flappy Bird, I would say. But yeah, that's the list. It kind of reminds me that that's the list. Well, it's one of the lists. It's just the first list I could find.
Swords and sandals.
Don't worry, Judd. We'll get to swords and sandals in a minute. But there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about before then. What do you remember? We played a game that were essentially these like ball characters. Like they had a ball for a body, ball for a head, ball for hands, balls for feet. They looked for your purposes. They looked like the interactive buddy guy.
Yeah.
But like they had guns and stuff. Do you remember that? Do you remember that one? I don't know what it was called.
No, I don't remember that one.
But with these Flash games we used to play, there was a few different sort of sub-genres of them. Dress-up games was one of them. There's a lot of dress-up games in these things.
An incredible amount of dress-up games.
We did play some dress-up games, but like we'd be like, oh yeah, let's. Oh, this one you can choose like a costume for Goku, and we would. And we were like, yeah, that's my favourite, and then that's it. That was our quota for dress-up games for the week. And then other ones were essentially soft porn for kids, because you could take the clothes off the characters. So there'd be stuff like the one that I remember is Bulma dress-up. So Bulma from Dragon Ball Z, you could just take the clothes off.
Oh my God, you can totally see her tits. You might have even been able to see a hairy clunge as well.
You could see the hairy clunge. That is.
I'm typing it in right now. I'm having a game.
But I even remember. I'm gonna go on it because
this is the one. I'm sure this is the one.
She used to say certain things if you touched her bits with the mouse on this game.
I'm sure.
This is really embarrassing to be saying on podcast, but here we go. I'll get it to the point so you can hear on the podcast what the things she used to say were.
Oh my God!
Right.
We played this as children.
Where do you think you're going with that?
Okay, you can hear the audio for it now. It's not on screen, but you'll be able to hear what she says when you.
You were just a dirty old man.
Yeah, she says that when you take her bra off. And then
that's ridiculous.
When you touch her breasts, she says this.
She goes, oh!
Why does she do that? And then when you touch the other bit, she says
barbecue sauce.
That's barbecue sauce?
Yeah, she says barbecue sauce.
Cheeseburger.
That's ridiculous.
Why does she do that? It's so stupid. But yeah, I remember there's those types of games, and while I'll just get all the smutty ones out of the way, this'll unlock a memory for you when we were too young to be viewing them, but we thought it was really, edgy, and we were horny teenagers. Meat and fuck games. Oh my God. These are so tragic, and only kids would ever be interested in these.
Me and Sam were talking about meat and fucks recently, and we played one. They're so fucking stupid.
Do you want to describe these games, Judd? They are Flash games, but they're adult Flash games.
So they'd be like, oh God! So there'd be like these Flash games where there were sort of more like interactive movies, where your character had probably like there was like loads of different scenarios for one. So there'd be like a the one I always remember is like a hitchhiker one where you're driving down this highway and you
Yeah.
see a hot lady and you pick her up, and as you have to pick the right dialogue option so she's interested, and then
Or
like,
not, to be honest, because
Yeah.
it wasn't even really about that. If you pick the wrong ones, it just lets you try again instantly.
yeah, it does.
So-
It does just immediately let you try again. And then there'll be like a minigame where it's like, "Ooh, carefully rub her thigh so that she's interested." And yeah, it's like shit like that. It was really
So
gross and creepy.
gross.
But
It was.
I played one recently, obviously because me and Sam were talking about him. I thought it'd be a laugh, and it was Meet and Fuck Avatar, but like the last Airbender.
Oh, I thought you meant the blue people.
No, it's the last Airbender one, and it's Aang, and it's Azula, like the Fire Nation princess. And there's a bit where Azula has Aang up against a wall, and she's like leering over him, and Aang says, and I swear to God, he says, "Damn, this bitch is crazy. The ancient art of cock bending will protect me." his cock grows massive and just like whacks her upside the head, and she gets knocked out.
I've just found it. Meet and Fuck, the last cockbender.
Yeah, that's it. Let's do a last cock bend.
Oh, we can't play that on stream. We will get banned for that. But they were. To be honest, we would. Thing is, we would play those together, wouldn't we? Like
We
and
would,
wouldn't,
yeah.
Like we wouldn't like masturbate or anything. We would be like, ooh,
We'd
look
just
what's
be like,
happening.
whoa, yeah.
Or we'd be laughing at it because it's ridiculous. Or
Yeah.
we'd get bored at it because sometimes they were kind of shit. But,
Yeah.
you know, that was another genre. If you don't... I know we've been talking about this for ages, but if you got to this point and you don't know what Flash games are, you should look some up. Because they were, like, basically shitty web-based games. And then the last sort of thing I wanted to mention before getting into Swords and Sandals, which is our favourite one ever, is... Do you remember they used to have these, like... They were pretty much just animated movies, weren't they, really? They were like Flash movies. But we would watch them, like, in our Flash game playing time. Do you remember there was, like... Was it called Kill Bunny or something like that?
Oh,
It's like a bunny
Kill Bunny is... That's tingling something. Kill Bunny Flash.
An animation. I'm Googling Kill Bunny animation. Bunny Kill, that was it. Bunny Kill.
Bunny Kill. Bunny
And I think
Kill.
there's 4 of them from what I can tell. Oh no, there's 5.
Animation.
And to put this in perspective, this is
I-
there's an
Yeah, I
hour
think
long.
that- yeah.
There's an hour long compilation. Well, it's just an hour long video of each bunny kill animation back to back. So episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So obviously that's going to be as new as it can be, and it was uploaded in 2012. So
I would have been
Yeah.
13.
do you remember that? We watched. I don't know if I watched all of these, but we watched some of them. God, we must have seen these younger than I thought we did. Yeah, Jesus, that's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. But
Bunny
yeah, they were
Kill.
kind of
There you go.
basically what Bunny Kill was. It was just this animation, John Wick style. Really, it was like
Yeah.
a bunny basically being like John Wick and just
It was-
killing a bunch of people. And
Yeah,
a bunch of bunnies.
It was like
and-
the Madness series. If you ever watched Madness on Newgrounds, it was like big
yeah, that was another
combat
one.
fight scenes, like John Wick style.
And it was kids watching again because it was like basically all candy viewing. Like there wasn't
Yeah.
any actual substance to it. It was just there was no dialogue or anything like that. It's just all senseless action murder and just killing bunnies in creative ways. But it didn't feel as bad because it was just bunnies and it was animated. Yeah, Bunny Kill, that was crazy. And you could tell it was all about that because there was even a kill counter. We should do
know what,
after this. We should maybe we should do that after the podcast as well. Reacting to Bunny Kill. That'd be interesting. But yeah. Anyway, Swords and Sandals. Swords and Sandals. Gladiator. That's the theme tune that came on. I could
Yeah,
still
we
play
didn't just
Swords and
talk it
Sandals.
off the
It's
top
so
of his
good.
head like simultaneously.
That would be pretty cool though. Yeah, Swords and Sandals. What can you say about that? That's that could have been a fully fledged like Xbox arcade type of game from the get go. Like, the first one could have been a fully fledged one. It was kind of like... It's kind of like an RPG game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like your standard RPG, and you're a gladiator, and you have to kind of work your way up the gladiator ranks, and you gain skill points, and you level up, you can gain gold, you can... all sorts of things like that. Obviously, it's a 2D Flash game, and it all looks kind of goofy, but the characters were interesting, and it had randomly generated opponents for you, didn't it? When you were doing your practice, when you were doing your like leveling
the
up practice
names were all
matches.
randomly generated, and their sort of like skill sets and what they were armed with were randomly generated. There was also, I don't know if you can remember it, like randomly sort of scheduled events that had happened in the town. So like you'd be approached by a merchant, or you'd be like, it's nighttime, do you want to sleep in a tavern, or are you going to brave the streets? And if you brave the streets, there was a chance that somebody robbed your money.
High chance.
So yeah.
You'd have to there'd be different consequences, wouldn't you? Like, you'd almost have to memorize what each random event was, and it only come up with some text. It weren't anything flashy, but get it, Flash games, yeah. But and they had cool bosses. I think the appeal to us was after you'd done all your practice ones, you had to fight the arena boss before you moved on to the next tournament. And for us, it was seeing what the next tournament boss was essentially that was going to be fun. And if you thing is, it was fucking tense because, so far as I can remember, if you died on that, you died.
Yeah.
Like, could you save it or anything? I don't.
So the practice, the duel like battles were, you could lose those ones because it'd be like the first blood, and then you just got sort of sent back to the town if you lost.
I have to say you could kind of lose them, but if you did lose any of them, then you may as well quit because you wouldn't be leveled enough or anything to fight the boss. It wasn't balanced very well, so you basically had to win every single match. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but no, if when you got to the tournaments, which was you'd have to then kill a set amount of people, then you'd fight the arena champion, and then if you beat them, you moved on. But if you died against any of them in that sort of like tournament thing, that was it. Your character was dead forever, and you'd have to start again.
Yeah. So it was brutal, and you had to do that because it was Flash games. There wasn't any storage.
Yeah.
Things like cookies didn't really work the same way back then, you know? It couldn't remember things based on, you know, when you've previously been to a site. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. But the game changer for us, and I think what made it most interesting and cool, was that one of us discovered you could cheat on Swords and Sandals. And if you had a comma at the end of your name and you pressed randomize, it would give you like a random amount of skill points. If you randomized it a certain amount, you could get like thousands of skill points, which just made you one-shot everything in the game. Which, as a kid, we fucking loved, because you just want to win at games as a kid, don't you? You don't care about it actually being fun or a challenge or anything.
Yeah.
That was
also
good.
We wanted to see what the end was because it was a really fucking hard game. So we wanted to see
I don't think we could complete it without cheating, even now, to be honest. It was just too hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Swords and Sandals. Everyone should go check out Swords and Sandals.
Like a strategy guide somewhere that tells you exactly how to do it. But
maybe I don't know. Maybe we should give Swords and Sandals a go. It's a really good game. It does remind me of like sort of another genre of Flash games, pre-hacked Flash games. Do you remember when we were on that stint for a little bit? Which as kids, obviously, you just wanted to win, but it did get old very quick, even as kids. Like, it was games like, do you remember, is it called Ancient War or something like that?
It's like Art of War or something,
Art of War Flash game. And there was two of them.
Age of War.
Art of
It
War?
might have been Age of War.
I think it's Art of War.
Have a look.
No, it's Age of War.
Yeah.
Age of War. And you could get like a hacked version. So Age of War was a similar strategy game where you had your money kept going up slowly over time, and you had to buy units, and those units would travel along a linear path and attack any units that they got in the way of from the enemy team, but if they went all the way, they'd attack the enemy's base. Hard to explain. Look it up if you don't know how it works. But you could get like a hacked version where you just had unlimited money and experience, and you could just destroy the AI. And I don't know, those are kind of fun as well. It's like the same way that if ever I'm playing Minecraft and I think it's bullshit and I'm mad that a creeper's blown something up, I'll just go in creative mode and just like, no.
That's what I did when I had my little go of Minecraft. When something would just be like ridiculous, like something stupid had happened, I just go, nope, I'm not allowing that.
Yeah, and it'd be more fun like that as well. And that's why I can't get on with online multiplayer games, because you can't just go, well, that's not fair, and kind of fix it yourself. You just have to put up with it. But yeah, that's a bit of a journey down Flash games. Do you remember any more that are really worth mentioning, Judd?
I liked one called Alice is Dead. Alice is Dead. It was quite edgy. It was like a puzzle game. I think you played as the White Rabbit, and I think you had been framed for Alice's death, or you might have ended up doing it. I can't really remember. I didn't get super far.
It was all about the story, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a big story-driven game. It was quite fucking creepy, and
this one's really good, actually. Apparently, Markiplier played it.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I remember Alice is Dead. Alice is Dead was a good one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway,
I don't think I had any others. Do you remember Can Your Pet?
Can Your Pet? No.
Yeah, it was. So basically, it was like one of those where it was like sort of starting off like, oh, raise this little chicken thing, raise it up, and you sort of like raised it more and more, and like right at the end, it came up with like a symbol for what you thought was a bike, and it'd be like, oh, maybe that's training, and then you'd click on it, and the bike could like flip upside down, and it was actually a grinder, and your pet fell into the grinder.
Mini Rocket,
I think it was like supposed to be something that Peter had made to be like, oh why are you eating animals? It was something like that, but
they did like something similar for Pokemon, didn't they? Where the animals were controlling the trainers, and the trainers got beat up and stuff like that, and like were in physical, something like that.
It might not have been Peter, but it was. That was the ending. It got you this pet that you'd got like a little bit of an attachment to, like fell into like a meat grinder, and it was, I don't know, it was just stupid. But yeah, I remember that.
Yes, we are, sir. I remember. I've sort of thought about another one that Duck Life. Do you remember Duck Life?
I do remember Duck Life, yeah.
Where you would raise a duck, like you train like a duck to race, and you'd put it in race. It's very wholesome.
This one didn't get torn apart by a meat grinder. This one, actually.
No, this one was fun. I genuinely, when I was at my last job, not at this one, when I was at a different job I worked at, I played so much of Duck Life. See, when we were kids, we wouldn't really complete these games because we were impatient, and they were normally quite hard because they were essentially kind of a similar theory to old games in that they couldn't. The technology was limited, so they couldn't flesh out the games very well. So they had to make them very hard, so you could get lots of playtime out of them. So we ended up not really finishing a lot of them. But
yeah, I watched like I was watching a video about Flash games recently, and it was like a tier ranking of Flash games. And I remember this guy saying that when he played it, he'd just max everything out on the fly, on like the duck being able to fly, because then you'd race your duck against other ducks. And the thing is, like, yeah, and the little section where they're having to run, he'd get like fucked over. But the second he jumps off of this cliff thing to like do the flying section, he'd go meow and like just complete the entire course in one go.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, that's Flash games. It's not going to make a lot of sense to a lot of people. I hope that this has been a decent podcast for people. If people listen to this and are not into games or haven't had a history of playing a lot of games, then it's not going to make a lot of sense. But don't worry, next week... What the hell? My sister's shouting very loud. Next week, we'll be looking at our online orders of 2020, so you can snoop and stalk on as much as we like. But I have to say, I just so you've got plenty of preparation, Judd, I want to do a podcast as well where we get everyone we know to vote on what they think has been the best year for memes so far.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And only people worthy of memes. So like we can't ask dad or like parents. Then and only people who are into memes enough.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be good. That probably won't be next podcast. That'll probably be the 23rd, close before Christmas. So there you go. Anyway, that's it for podcast now.
I'll for anybody, for the one person listening that might have actually been into I reckon a couple people could have been into the Cyberpunk section. I'll have played it by next week, so I'll be able to tell you, how it's holding up for a week.
No one's into any section of this podcast, right? Anyway,
nobody's into this podcast. Nobody's ever listened.
You know what? We used to struggle to fill time on these podcasts, and now we blabber on for fucking ages. Let's shut up. Tell us to shut up, listener. Tell us to shut up right now, and we will. Go on. Right, are you ready? After 3, tell us to shut up. 3, 2, 1.